Hello there and welcome back to the DBMS video series. In this video we'll be discussing the question set 12. So in our previous video we discussed about Next Mobile and we need to create database for a eShop website which is the Next Mobile store. So now we first created the users table, and now we'll be creating the customer table and the supplier table. So we'll have to follow a few instructions to create the table, and the table name is going to be customer, and there is going to be one change in the customer ID. The customer ID is supposed to be the primary key and it should also be auto incremental. So let's dive into the database. So let's open our MySQL Workbench and let's continue the database from here. So we'll be creating a new database by clicking the table icon and double clicking it to rename it. So we are going to name it as the customer table. And now we'll be adding the table column names. So the first one is going to be the customer ID, and it's going to be an int value. It's going to be an int data type, and it should be marked as a primary key, and it should also be auto incremental. Next we are going to add the first name column. So the length is going to be 45 and the data type is going to be varchar. So let's copy it. Next let's add the last name. And next we'll have to add the gender. So it's going to be a varchar 10 length character. Next we are going to add the number, which is going to be a varchar 45 length character. Next we are going to add the street 1. So that is also going to be a varchar 45. So we'll have the street 1. So we'll have to add the street 1, street 2 and city. So all three are going to be a varchar 45 length characters. So let's add them. Next we'll have to add the contact number and the status. So the contact number is going to be a varchar 10 character length. And finally we are going to add the status. So it's going to be varchar with 1 character. Alright, we have successfully created our customer table. Now to add this table into the database, we'll have to go to the database section, and then we'll have to click on synchronize model, and then we'll click on next on each pop-up, and then click on execute and click on close after you have finished executing everything. And now we'll have to create another table as well. So I'm going to add the table to our ER diagram, and I have made it ready to be renamed. So the next table is going to be the supplier table. So I'm going to name the table here, and now we'll have to add the supplier ID. So the supplier ID is supposed to be an int data type, and it should also be a primary key, and it should also be auto incremental. Next we are going to add the first name, and then we'll be adding the last name. And then we'll be adding the number, and then street 1, and then street 2, and then city, contact number, email, and finally the status. So we forgot to do one thing. We only change the column names. So the contact number is supposed to be a 10 character varchar data type, and the status is supposed to be a 1 character varchar data type. Alright, so after we have finished adding the table, I'm going to synchronize this table as well with the database. So click on database tab and then click on synchronize model, and then click on next, next, and then next, and then we'll click on the execute button. And we have successfully added both tables to our database. So we'll meet in the next video.